Any preview.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Anti-Stall Racing IMSA series. Round 1 of Season 11 today. A couple of changes we'll cover throughout the qualifying session, but a nice healthy GT3 field here that have just started qualifying. Just a couple of technical issues, that's why we're a little bit slow getting on. Kirby, I assume you can now see my screen share, but let me know if you can't. The GT3 field out qualifying, we've got LMP2s back
vision. I can't remember the IMSA quote.
We've got LMP2 back for this season, GT3 Am and GT3 Provo out qualifying at the moment. Quite a big field today here at Sebring. Going to watch this session as it unfolds, and we're going to car off in turn 1 already. That is the Porsche of Jonas Van Eck. Oh, it is. Let's take a look at what happened to Dave Van Eck. No rear tyre temperature. It in, no grip, and ends up in the wall.
That is also a very default looking livery. Do you have trading paints open?
I do, because all the other cars seem painted correctly.
That's a very blue looking Porsche is my only concern. Like, it looks very iRacing default paint scheme. But yeah, they look okay. But there's definitely a lack of personality to them.
I see a lot of iRacing default looking things. So let's see. Trading Paints is saying that Trading Paints is online.
That's slightly worrying.
This is an update.
Callum looks as a little more personal.
Let's take a look at Callum looks. I don't think this is a proper livery, but at least a little bit better. And he's off in the wall trying to get some.
That is unfortunate.
Very sorry, Callum. I think you just got the first commentator's curse of the season.
Absolutely.
A couple of drivers going quick out there on track at the moment. Jeffrey Ross is one of them, holds 2 purples so far this lap.
There we go.
45 of 54 downloaders. Flicks it in to sunset at the end of the lap as Jeffrey Ross is going to try and push to the line to put it on a provisional pole position with a couple of purples so far this lap. Obviously just the opening of the session. Raphael Heck is the first across the line with a valid lap time. It's 2:01.174, and that's quickly beaten by Jeffrey with a 2:0.35.
And obviously
not cool.
With the GT3 tyre. Ooh.
To the line up against the wall.
It's going to be a case of you just need to get a few laps in to get tyres up to temp. The cold tyres aren't as bad as they are in the GTPs, but you do get a lot more lap time on your second, third lap around here. It's a big lap around Sebring, so you can probably build heats over 1 lap to get it into a decent range, but I imagine third lap is going to be where you really start to make some time.
Daniel Morphy goes to P2 ahead of Vincent Ossoms. Daniel Morphy in the BMW this season. So over 3 seasons ago now. Not in the Mercedes, although it's T-Pace from the BMW. Nice to see a couple of manufacturers mixing up at top. We've got a couple of Astons as well. Bob hasn't been particularly kind to the Aston Martin, I understand, so it's nice to see in the field today. Ross is flying out front as well. 3 purples so far this lap. We're going to go on board for the final of sectors here.
Possibly my least favourite section of corners, not straight into the one here, and you just go all the way past the white line, try to catch the curb on the inside, send it out, take all of the curb on the exit as well. It just feels so unnatural to send the car out that wide when the line is right there. But it doesn't count as going off track, so you absolutely need to do it to maximise the last corner, because you have this monster of a backstretch to work with, and then try and get tucked in for sunset.
The amount of time that you gain just by pushing the limit through that, and I mean there really is no limit, but obviously there's a certain point where you don't want to go too far out wide, but you can gain so much time down that back straight. Jeffrey Ross then across the line goes quicker again. It's a 1:59.46 to go nearly a second clear at the front of the field.
You can see how hard he's working the wheel right now, trying to keep that car stable over all the bumps. Sebring, obligatory former airfield reference, but the track surface is not very kind and does leave you chasing the car a lot of the time.
Dominic Knockel slots into P2, just 6 tenths off of pole position. It seems weird to say, but it's the closest anyone's got so far this session, apart from Vincent Ossums, who gets within 3 tenths in Daniel Morby now. And Taylor Donaldson. P3 now drops down to P5 in the Mustang. Donaldson new to the series. There's Suarez, Vici, Heck, Alicio, with others throughout the field as well that we'll cover in the race. Marco De Vita being one of them. Is on another outlap. Bit of an instant. We normally see drivers run full way through this session. Remember, they're going to get 12 minutes each running, or 11 minutes? I can't remember. It's either 11 minutes to run. So not long left on this GT3 session. We did slightly late, but we put all of the hot laps. I'm sure the LMP2 drivers getting ready to line up in pit lane. Really strong GT3 field this season. Of big drivers as well that we've seen in the past. People switching from different categories as well. Ross flying again. We stay on board with the Dutchman. Currently sits on pole position. He said a load of purples this lap. One yellow, but it's still quicker than most of the rest of the field. Through sunset. Find the grip. Pick up the throttle as soon as you can, and you're going to use all of that exit to keep your foot flat and brush up against the wall over the bump. Line for Jeffrey Ross through the exit of Sunset and across the line. Does improve. It's a 59.276 this time. It's about half a second between. Awesomes. Bezga's finding time.
Very strong. That was a car spun off in front there.
Bezga finding time there in the AM car and goes up to P7 as Dominic Knockel goes up to P2 and gets within touching distance of the group.
Oh, Knuckles going to want that lap back, actually. That was remarkably close. It was like one small mistake is the difference there of the entire just shy of 2-minute lap. You could be kicking yourself all the way around.
Goes to P2, gets even closer than Knockel as a 2-minute warning flag comes out for these 3 drivers. De Vita a little bit deep at the hairpin. So easy to do.
Now we just have to wait for probably Callum Lux as the next best driver with a good opportunity at advancing time. Probably set 11th with 3 green sectors underneath the belt right now.
Callum will be looking for some improvement here as well. Sits behind a couple of AM drivers at the moment, so will want to move into pro field.
Very close to the cones on the outside, tries to tuck it in, doesn't quite find the apex, a little bit of room there. It takes a good wide berth on the exits. Should move up the order here. Yes, that is very far up the order, in fact.
Big move up to
all
P4.
the way in P4. And that's P4 on grid as well. Obviously looks is in pro. I don't know why I thought they were in AM. That's my apologies.
It's important for Callum though as well, because obviously points given out in qualifying. You know, we've had the championship come down to such fine margins last season. These qualifying points really do make a difference in standings. 10% of race points, but over an 8-race calendar. Big chunk of points as Suarez goes to the top with a 1:59.069 to
Knockel has a toe as well. This might be good.
Knockel to P3.
Yep, that would be the power of the toe. Was tucked right behind Ivan Vesco coming through that final sector.
Van Eck across
Just
the line for
a few tenths.
P6. His final runs for most people now. I think everybody that now crosses the line apart from Vici. Give a checkered flag. Vici just made it. So everybody now, these are the final laps. So Luca Picardi currently sits 16th. And we'll go up to P12 at that time. And Jonas Schneider coming across the line.
Not just any Jonas Schneider, pro Jonas Schneider.
Apologies, there are a couple of names. Big Singers, he slots in 7. Jolton will be looking to improve, and the sector times suggest that they will. On the back straight now in that DLR BMW.
Good amount of space there, again, to the inside barrier. Obviously you want to push that as close as you can, but there's a solid wall. If you find the limit too much, that is a good way to blow up the engine.
Looks in the background, getting very close to the wall and does not improve as a result. LMP2 green flag is out, but Jeffrey Ross is still pushing on. Doesn't need to find much in this final sector to reclaim pole position that looked so short. But most of this session is really pushing on the exit. The line flashes the headlights. Is it going to be enough? No, it's not. It's not even a personal best. Carl Suarez will, I believe, start on pole position unless these 3 drivers has got something to say about it. But at the sector times, I don't think that's going to happen. Marco De Vita comes across the line. Currently sits in 21st place. Does improve, but the lap validated.
So
Dave Van Eyck across the line. Go. Sorry, Kirby, go on.
Oh, I was about to say it was finished, and then it wasn't actually finished. Amazing. But Awesome's... Hello? Was Awesome still on track?
Awesome's up to P2. Vici last car across the line. P15 up to P9. Big improvement at the end of the session.
I mean, not tracking properly at all, but a good finish there for Alejandro Vici, taking the top 10 just in the nick of time.
Long lap. GC3s around here.
Yeah, Awesome does a very good job there sneaking in P2, but obviously Raul Suarez takes pole. And I believe their first appearance. It's a very good showing early on.
Broken timing board. We've got a fixed timing board. Carlos Boza on... I just realised, I think timing board isn't showing everyone. No, it is. Carlos Boza will lead the field. No, not lead the field. There are a couple of drivers in front. Carlos here.
Yep.
LMP2 back after a couple of seasons off, weaving down the back straight to try and get a little bit of tyre temperature. Cold tyres still an issue in the LMP2, but not to anywhere near the same degree as they are in the G field. And Ruben Stegemann, who's about to send it into turn 1. Wall in the LMP2. Lots of downforce in these cars, remember. You seem to lack a little bit of power, and that's a great angle. I like it. Just a tricky section through this area. A lot of concrete blocks, not until you get out here, you're finally on the tarmac, but a lot of concrete blocks, which means there's very little grip. Track is, of course, very bumpy, famously so. Now into the hairpin, get on the brakes about the 400-metre mark. Curbs around
Curbs
here.
in that first sector's run so high you just cannot tag them with anything, or that car is going in an angle you are not expecting. You've got to be a little bit careful, especially now coming up in towards Cunningham. Just got to be a little bit careful where you place the car. Well, to get as close to that pick as you can. Don't want to clip it because again it will just spit the car at a bad angle. Foot to the floor now. Carry the speed through the corner, in deep. Try to find the apex. Don't want to run wide here. That's a huge patch of dirt that will just chew your lap time to pieces. Steering keeps the car pointing forwards.
Strong front end.
Bishop.
Best car so far this lap. Yeah, he's going to try and get on that curb on the inside and does so. And almost hook it over this curb. That run through the back straight.
At this point, you reach over and you grab your kind of monster and you have a slight sip because you're doing nothing here for about 20 seconds, it feels like.
Makes it so hard to pick the braking point as well when you get to sunset. A couple of different lines you can take through here as well makes it even harder to choose. Now runs up against the wall as we saw in the GT3s, but not quite as close, but remember, first lap of the day for Stegemann. 2.292, and is not beaten by his teammate. I think is likely going to be beaten by Carlos Boza Poya across the line with an awful lot of purple sectors. We go to the top of 151.7. Samuel M. Shepherd looking strong as well, a 152.4. And in They're rubbing the walls. Yeah.
There was a few contacts with the apex of turn 1. Obviously, that's a corner where you definitely want to be pushing that inside line as hard as you can. But the problem is, instead of the curb being the limit there, it is... I don't know what that wall's made out of, but it doesn't look pleasant to drive into, let's put it like that.
Bastion had a purple sector 1 and 2, but that sector 2 has been stolen back by Hoyer. Very, very quick. Bowser, or Page. Carlos, if you let us know what that should say, I think. Graphic. Never. Bowser pushing on then. Bastion struggling in the second half of his lap a little bit. Fairly even pace so far of his lap amongst a lot of the field, though. Leon joining in a little bit late. I don't think he's had much practice. He's dying a little bit in this.
Kind of a dangerous time to be doing it this close to race, especially in a qualifying setting where everyone's trying to get foot to the floor, but I digress. There was a part of me that wanted to just show up and push the race button, but I think race control might have took exception to me not paying the entry fee.
I made the foolish decision this week to do 20 minutes practice in the and register for the race, knowing that it was going to split and thinking I would get put in the middle or the bottom. I loaded in, I was car number 7. I was really bad. I was really bad. I was car number 7, split 1. And after 10 laps of racing, about 30 seconds behind the leaders.
Not that bad. Oh, Renek is in the barrier at turn 5.
Look at what happened to Daniel.
3-3. Clips the curb on 4, and like I said, you just don't know which way the car's going to move when you do that. And this time it moves right, and there is a tyre barrier there, and tyre barriers in iRacing are lethal. Check out all the barriers in iRacing. Oh, we are blinded by
That's for Sky. Let's cut away from that, because it's getting dark outside, and that is not a pleasant thing to look at.
A lot of the opposite of purple, orange on the timing tower right now. And now it's probably the best to try and improve, but obviously 3 seconds off, there's a lot of time to be gained there. In the, certainly the livery of all time.
Steckerman finding a little bit of time. Leon is at the back as well, like you said. Yellows in half this lap for Root.
It's just a case of waiting for the times to come in. This is the problem with qualifying in a small field. It's just a lot of just waiting for these cars to put laps together, and sometimes you just get lapped like Groeneveld, where you're just a bit off pace everywhere, or Sam Shepard, who's got a good lap in, struggling to match it. And now gets onto the back straight, and maybe there's a chance to try and get something here. That orange sector, ooh, 2 orange sectors in a row, maybe not looking too good, especially considering that's the back stretch. There's a lot of time to be gained and lost here. Stegeman comes in, tries to flick it through the corner, doesn't really find an apex at any point there, which is rather unfortunate. For the Dutchman
Second half of the lap really not come together.
No. So Bowser currently Shepard and Van der Ruvel, whose name is unfortunately being truncated there.
Ben Groeneveld finding a little bit of time in the first 2 sectors, but again struggling after that.
It's very hard to put a lap around here, just because it's 1 so massive, 2 so bumpy, 3 sometimes you just end up going wide at tower. It just sometimes it happens.
That lap will be invalidated now as well. Ben's going to have to back off and go again. 2 minutes to go, so Ben will be allowed to do 1 more lap after this and won't get around again because it's such a long lap here at Sebring.
And I think the track conditions might be deteriorating as well. There's a lot of orange right now on that timing screen. It just makes me feel like no one's got much more pace they can extract right now. So we'd be looking at Elwout to maybe improve, or Renek to really shake up the grid, but I don't think anyone else is in a position to improve immediately. Elwout has the 2 greens, but I think just the rest of the track just doesn't have the pace right now to actually get an improvement going. Gravel takes a hard chunk of the curb there, does manage to keep the car pointed forwards, but won't necessarily be fast with that. I say that Ruben Stegemann has put up 6 screen sectors.
Leon improves a little bit at the back, but still struggling to find some pace as Ruben goes to Pete.
Good effort there from Stegemann.
Neil's really improving now at the end of this session.
Yeah. It just seems like... quieting down to the back of this session, Renek has a half a chance to improve. I don't know what the deltas are, but that's 3 and 3 up and down in pace.
A little bit loose at the apex, though, Renek in that final corner. I think lost him.
Will not improve. Will be stuck in P6. Did get through before the checkered flag flows, so we'll be able to take the final lap. As will the 93 of Van der Heuvel, who just got in there in the nick of time, I believe. There's some stuff happening in the pit lane right now, which I'm not a fan of.
Oh yeah, improving out front again. He already has pole position, but showing some dominant pace right now. A reminder that Boza, Poya, Carlos, whatever we're going to call him, 8k I rating. Would expect some decent pace from the Spaniard.
Boza has 2 purples. Chance here potentially, but the time's not looking amazing. And yet does manage to improve, but not a significant margin, just probably enough to secure that P1, given everywhere else is a little bit off pace. Green flags will be shown for the GTPs as they now head out. And I don't know why they do this, honestly.
They all do it, and then they all end up backing off to build a gap, and with cold tyres.
Yeah. There was some funky driving going on pit road as well, that just trying to fight for positioning. That I'm like, what are we doing here?
Normally end up with half the field spinning out cold tyres anyway and having to reset, so kind of made it that point. Right, Casper Who back in the series with a new looking livery on that back. Like that a lot with the gold purple. Grey areas. The lighting. The returners as well. Jack Reed back. Anna Müller-Brucker, David van der Wacker. Donk. The Ferraris this season though. Porsches, lots of BMWs. The headlights.
Acura.
Lights, the sort of kidney lights, I think they're called. DLR could keep drivers.
I also just, you remember when the hypercar class was the Acura Cup? Those were times.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the Acura was pretty good last season at some tracks, to the point where me and Andy, our race director, did an endurance round and we drove the Acura, and it was like driving the Acura. Like suicide to drive anything else. Would have had absolutely zero pace. Glad we've not got that this season though. It seems to be much more driver preference based, which is great to see.
Only between the 3 cars, but they are the fun 3 cars, so I'll allow it.
We're going to get the usual build laps here, I think, in GP.
Yeah. hope you enjoy the Georgia Lice podcast, because you've got that for at least another 5 minutes. So these drivers
The problem
will
with
set lap times. They're just going to go down rapidly.
problem with GTP is, especially in officials, that's why I like this longer session that we have. You get 2 laps, and your tyres are cold for those 2 laps. They are never the right temperature.
I don't mind them on the second flying lap too much. They aren't at optimal temperature, but they're normally good enough that you can like get it around the track in one piece. Yeah.
Just have to be sometimes a little bit careful in some of the high-speed corners. But yeah, you're less likely to just sort of like die as soon as you put any power down.
But obviously with this format, with the longer qualifying session, you've just got that extra chance for a few extra laps that can really just help get some heat in those tyres and set probably more performance accurate lap times. I don't hate the 2-lap format, but obviously having the long session, it just gives you more like room to make a few mistakes, which sometimes can happen. Obviously, if you botch that second lap in an official session, you're in the bin.
Oh, with a familiar livery. Get on here. I think he's been let by. Run plans here, but anyway.
You remember what I said about everyone queuing up and then them spreading out immediately anyway? So like, why bother?
Right, that's your benchmark time. Just 1 second quicker than the LMP2. Come down a little bit. Mark Frederick, new to the series, is already coming down a little bit in the BMW as well.
Nice to get some colour variety from all of the orange. Thanks, DLR.
It's like, nothing makes me happier than seeing a DLR livery orange, just like Albert Preem's blue DLR. Get a purple DLR at some point.
No, we did.
Much more identifiable than when they're all orange.
Yeah, they are improving. It's just it was quite bad a few seasons ago. And I won't forgive them for it. Either way, still in the waiting for tyres to get temperature in them phase of qualifying. No one's actually put a foot wrong yet, I believe. They've all kept it on track, which normally there's a few drivers that make a slip. No, everyone's doing quite a good job right now.
Actually, Sebring as well, such little grip anyway, even when you're on the warm tyre. But, I mean, the sort of twisty section just before, I think it's our corner, there is no grip in the racing IMSA E here, like 50% throttle down and spinning on. It's absolutely insane that level of grip, but is around here. It's so difficult to drive. Right, is this going to be a more representative lap time from the 808 at the front? A 48, well, maybe not, because Albert Preem puts in a 47.81. I think that's a little bit more representable from the Dutchman, followed by 3 of his countrymen, although 2. Now, go Federico Sarter, up for now, goes to the 5 in the Cadillac, back in just ahead, but 3 manufacturers, all 3 manufacturers. Great to see some S11 cars back in the series as well.
Very nice looking paint on them as well. I am a sucker for black, white, red paint schemes. They are like the generic esports sim racing team paints, but I like them.
I love how that livery as well looks slightly different from the front and behind. White from the front, and we get the red and the black on it. Albert Preem improving, but he sits on provisional pole position, as is Mark Frederick with a purple as well. A couple of drivers picking them up on this lap, so everyone's still finding grip out there, which is good to see. Only 4 minutes left in this session, remember. Be a couple more laps for these guys.
That is Jack Reed right now for Albert Preem.
That wasn't me, that was Albert Preem's internet connection. We're just going to clear that up. That wasn't on purpose that time. wasn't even an accident. It just wasn't
Oh, Reed
anything
with a
to do with
huge wobble
me.
mid-corner. That's going to upset Preem.
Oh, and hits the wall in the Porsche. Preem pips him to go to the top. Sends it into turn 1 to go again.
Reed bails, I think. That car might be wounded.
Davide Aceto goes up to P5. Vincent van der Moerbroeke in the green DLR BMW. It's P10. We expect Vincent. And finds a little bit more.
Still a little bit off, though. There's a
Right at the
group
front,
of cars
though.
that are pretty on pace, and he's just a little bit off right now. Frederick is sort of in that middle ground in 6th. Needs to gain a 3/10 is actually a very gainable amount of time around here, to be fair, but you need to do it soon because you are running out of time.
Raymond Denit goes to the top in the BMW. Ahead of Quinton Verdonk in the Porsche, ahead of Federico Sarta in the Cadillac. So great to see. Right at the front as well, just 300ths front row. Sarta to the pit, so it's over for him.
Yeah, no way you can get heat cycle into these tyres to get actual flying lap in. I'd say the same for Frederick and Reed, who are being scored on out laps right now, so unlikely they'll set anything different in terms of times. They'll be stuck where they are and everyone else around them. Yep, Sartor's gone for a spin. So the warning for the checkered comes out. A lot of drivers will be on their final laps out. Raymond Denit coming through, looking very fast. A lot of green, that one extra purple to boot. Should be an improvement for the Dutchman. Comes a lot more across the line than I thought it would. You normally want to straight line that if you're trying to set a fast time, but that doesn't matter. He still gets into the 46s. 3/10 clear of the competition as it stands right now. And a lot of that competition currently sat in the pit lane or on cold tyres. Grundlers gets into 6th place.
Albert Preem could be a threat here, though. It's a 1.
Oh. Very early going, but very strong start. And obviously you don't need to gain too much time with your Preem to actually move up the order. 3rd place is less than 200th away. 2nd place isn't that much further up the road either. Under a 10th. Just need to put together a slightly faster lap and you're probably taking a whole row on the grid.
Still a decent Sector 3 from Preem. Sector 4, not far off. Around him are doing, so if he can put together a good end to this.
Doesn't look like he has a toe, which would be fairly beneficial just for getting that extra 10th in the backstretch. But Duncan Denit can't improve from the looks of it as it stands.
Albert was maybe benefited from a toe down the back straight a little bit on his previous lap and then on run towards a line. I think probably lost a lot more time behind the slow moving Reed in the final corner. Sunset last time by, so let's see what he can do. I think there's time to find through here and on the exit. Might lose a tiny little bit down the straight compared to the flag is out, so this will be it. Across the line, Albert Preem does improve up to P2.
Nice.
Oh, by 2,000ths of a second ahead of Quinton Verdonk.
And that's another one of those where someone's going to be kicking themselves. Verdonk was so close to getting that front row start, but to be fair, 3rd place can be very good on race starts if you time the start properly and you're just able to follow P1 through.
Potential for Van der Moerbroeke here to improve from P8. Across the line, current best is a 47.981. And the time this time is a 48.019. Improvement of the number. That's it. No drivers out on track.
That is it. Just a few drivers in the pit road. So we now just awkwardly get to wait for the session to conclude.
Race control could advance this.
It has to be I have powers and I could use them, but I don't think I will just because Andy will yell at me.
Get in trouble. I'll do it. He can't yell at me. He'll try. He's probably listening. He's not going to be very happy about this. So let's not. 1 minute to go. Raymond Denit will take pole position overall, and in TP, Carlos Boza Poya takes pole position. The first round where the class has returned. Quite a chunk ahead of the next car behind as well. She'll see how that plays out in the race. And Raul Suarez takes pole position in GT3 and GT3 Pro. Ivan Vesca will take points for pole position. The Donaldson and class.
I have slight concerns for the prospect of Nicola Monti right now, who's currently 20th on the grid as a pro driver in the GT3 field. There are a lot of our drivers that you need to overtake there that aren't going to be worth 80 points, which is rather unfortunate. It's going to be a very challenging race for them. It has to see how that one shakes out, but obviously it's an hour race at Sebring. A lot can go wrong, and probably a lot will go wrong.
Yeah, I think if everybody in the pits got out of their cars, by the way, fans, I don't know, we've got seconds left in the session. And there we go. We're going to take a look at the... Oh, no, and the clock has gone back up. 6 seconds?
It ticks over a little bit, don't worry about it.
There we go. Now we can put up some qualifying results. Let's take a look at GTP. That is not GTP, that is GT3, because that's what we're looking at first, as usual. Raul Suarez takes pole position ahead of Vincent Ossom, just 67 milliseconds in that. A 10th covers the top three with Jeffrey Ross in the number 50. Dominic Knockel in P4, Daniel Morby in P5, followed by Callum Lux, Dave Van Eck, Jonas Schneider, Alessandro Vici, Raphael Heck, Kevin Vasandvoort, Ivan Vesca, Taylor Donaldson, Luca Picardi, Robin Van Something. We'll find out later on. Pete Preens in P16 ahead of Diego Palcio, Tiemann Scholten, Patrick Stanek. Maybe one there is for Marco Zavita. You qualify. Get a little bit spread out in those last few positions. 19 drivers, 1.7 seconds, 1.5 seconds.
All right, everyone, this will be your weekly reminder that you get. First of all, we ask the pole sitter for each class to activate the pit limiter from roughly the apex of the final corner, so that everyone knows what speed you're going from. We ask the GT3 pole sitter and the LMP2 pole sitter to leave roughly a 15 to 20 second gap to the class ahead, so to the back of the next class. And as your final, and this is the reminder for everyone, the race will not start under green flag. The race will start when your class leader goes within the start zone. All that's rest of me now is to wish you a good race and to have fun.
Nothing that our race director loves more than enjoying than interrupting the qualifying. Results. Carlos Boza, pole position in LMP2 for Rincon Racing, TMC.
Sorry, Jordan, I said over admin. You're going to have to do that again.
That's actually toxic.
Our race director doing the whole brief to the grid there over the admin channel and is about to go again. Here we go.
Right, everyone. Now on race control so you can actually hear me. This will be your weekly reminder. First of all, we ask that the pole sitter in each class activates the pit limiter from roughly the apex of the final corner, so that is sunset.
I've got an idea. Here we go. People on stream can no longer hear Andy because they've already heard him once. We just got to mute iRacing so we can carry on going through this. So Ruben Stegemann for Clogged Pipes Racing is in P2 ahead of Samuel Shepard, Sebastian van der Heuvel, Ben Groeneveld, Daniel Renek, and Leon van Ellewaard. 7. GTP pole was taken by Raymond Denit in his debut at the Ansel Racing IMSA Series ahead of Albert Preem for DLR and Quinton Verdonk missing out on the front row by 2 milliseconds. Federico Sator for Absolute Motorsport Asaliv back on the return for the team with Davide Aceto, his teammate just behind him in P5. Glenn Rondeleris in P6 ahead of Mark Frederic, Vincent van der Meulenbroeke, Dave David van der Vacker, Jack Reed, and Casper Hu. Those guys at the back are quick guys. We know that from previous seasons, so expect them to be fighting their way back through the field. And Andy is done, so we're going to get you some cars back on the channel. Let's see. It's a little bit difficult for me though, Alice. I couldn't really. I was trying to like tune Andy out and do that at the same time. What did I do?
No, I couldn't do that. Also, condolences to Robin van Binsbergen, whose name got truncated from the GT3 qualifying there.
Oh, that might mean I'm missing someone on the race. And I appreciate that that says the wrong round.
I know they are the Robin van.
Ah. Let me see if I can have a play around and think. It was Robin.
Oh, doing it live. This is going to go terribly.
Robin van Bisbergen, we're saying, should be. I think the silly thing that you have to ban as part of their thing. Find Robin on track. Right, let's go to the correct class sets. That'll be good. And that is not the correct class.
We might be having fun here.
There we go, right class sets, there we go.
Ooh.
You're looking for, you said Robin?
Yep, Robin van Binsbergen.
Look at that, we've got it all on the timing board.
Outstanding.
Okay, we may have a small issue. Director, broadcast may have.
And we've been attacked by God yet again.
We're getting ready to go green here. Racing IMSA series.
And not in the warm-up, as the timing tower would suggest. Things might be slightly broken here for the start, but...
We'll still talk you through it, as we have some technical issues in the background. We can do that quite well.
It is a full pace lap around here, so plenty of time for the cars to get some temperature in the tyres, and also plenty of time to fix whatever's going on in the background. Drivers have their instructions. An important thing to know is with the gaps as they are, obviously last season we only had the 2 classes to split from. Now there's 3. They all have to leave gaps. That GT3 field is going to get very close to the GTP field very quickly. And there are a fair few GT3s you see there in the shot as cars start rolling.
Yeah, Raymond Denete will lead the field to green. BMW, very distinctive, going to be easy to spot, which is great.
Freem will be alongside. Donk and Sartor will take row 2. Behind them, Occhetto and Grundlers, which is a name I'm definitely mispronouncing, and I will apologise. You can see the field there.
Got Matteo Lemre
Going
in
single
chat.
file for some reason.
The Lemre in chat. 3.5 years of not driving an ASR. It's his first time. No, sorry, 3.5 years. Nearly done. We're about 80% on this update. Very slowly. Apologies, everybody. Hoping that we're going to get all the drivers saved properly on it. And as we go on the pace lap, long pace lap around here, it's nearly 2 minutes in the, well, it is about 2 minutes, I think, on a race lap in G. Which is going to be really, really, you know, it's such a long, a race lap, and a pace lap is going to be longer. I think the pace. Well, we've done 2 sectors and we're over a minute already.
About 2.5 minutes already in the session.
As we've got a timing board.
And I will say, this is the worst formation lap I've seen in a long time from these GTPs. In that they just aren't in a formation in the slightest. I guess they've got a longer shame than I would give them from Andy, because I would be giving warnings right now. But that's just me just really being picky about pace laps. Either way, they'll come through tower. Only a few moments to go before they really have to worry about what state the car's in.
That was an expected disappearance because I think I fixed some of our names that were getting correctly played. Just last names, we can fit everybody's full name on there. But let's go full name and just let's squish down. Well, it's squished everyone down now properly. See? You can see Sebastian's full name. It's just not very Raymond getting ready to take the field to green. We'll let the safety car pull away soon. The LMP2s are just a few corners behind this. GT3 round the far end of the track, coming to our corner now. And a nice field spread here, which will mean though that these GT early on.
Yep.
Perhaps recommended by race control, I'm sure of that.
I go beyond recommended saying insisting upon, but doesn't mean we'll probably get 3 clean race starts, which is what you want, and plenty of time to throw a safety car if we need one. Let's hope we don't, because I will cry.
Right, getting ready to go green for season 11, round 1. Watching it through the fence, not anymore.
Green.
Down into turn 1 and holds the field. A couple of drivers pop out and goes just before the line. That will have been in the start zone, I believe. Race control will check it. But down into turn 1, Raymond leads well. Quinton Verdonk on the inside of Albert Preem. Is he going to pull it off? It looks like he will. And that's GT3 for some reason.
Preem Verdonk getting into each other slightly, coming through turn 2.
Still.
Oh, that's not going to end well.
And Quinton Verdonk, the race winner from last season, is off. Will drop to the back of the field from P3. Everyone else still moving at the front of the field.
You can just tell Quinton Verdonk pinching down as the LMP2s take the start.
Carlos makes a good jump. Side by side into turn 1 with Ruben and Shepherd. Shepherd on the outside in that that AO livery. The purple car. And there's some headlight flashing, there's a rear end contact there. And it's round for Samuel Shepherd, who everybody else seems to get through it all right, actually. We've got more side-by-side action there. That's Sebastian trying to challenge Daniel Renek, but that's not going to play out. And he's now going to actually open himself up to an attack from his teammate, I think. But we're green in GT3 as well. Down into turn 1. Incidents under investigation already, as we would have expected.
A little argy-bargy between, I think that's Ross and Knuckle. Smolpy gets a good view of this, going to try and get up the inside. 2 by 2 as they come in.
So hard to go side by side through this section as we saw in GTP, and there's already a bit of contact here. And is there going to be more on the exit? It looks like these guys have made it through all right, and everyone behind them as well. No, Daniel Morphy off in the wall. Seems to be able to carry on. We'll take a look at what happened when we go back to some replays shortly.
3 for 3 for in-class incidents in the first sector. To be fair, no, it's technically the second sector, I'll take it back, but still not great.
Under investigation, as you would expect. The GTP's starting to get into a little bit of a groove here after their first full racing lap. Quinton Verdonk has caught the back of the pack, it looks like, just about. So we'll be pushing on to try and move back up the order. Roneveld making a move on Leon. Made up some time at the start.
Just a spinner, I believe, Taylor Donaldson. Based on those tyre marks, it just looks like he just took a chunk of dirt.
Ah, it's too much throttle.
Yeah.
Coley Monty side by side here. with, sorry, this is Nicoli Monti in Pro trying to get past some of the AM cars.
That's Palacio bump drafting there. Oh, hello! That's a rare penalty from race control.
Black flag.
Federico Sato, black flag jump start.
Jump start. Let's take a look. That is not the right car. This is the car we want to look at. Sato is there, the 35, the S11 car, and yeah, I think he actually caught the back of the car in front. Mistakenly, new to the series, went on the green flag. Not when he should have gone.
The green flag was already out by then, but that is a very weird moment.
Get called into the pit lane this time by, most likely. But no, chooses to stay out and push on for another lap or so. Probably try and pit once they start to hit the back of the traffic. It's all swapping places just out front, and Glenn Grondelez gets down the inside, but around the outside, Dave Van der Backer chooses the wider line to sweep through and carry more speed, and he's going to get back ahead of the Cadillac driver.
You can, if you open that corner up, you can carry so much more momentum. You see Grondelez going very tight to the inside there, just no way to carry that corner properly. The outside work working very nicely. Just to go back to Sato briefly, I think staying out is the right thing to do here. It's a very long lap around here, and you do have a few laps before you need to serve that. You might be able to get it into a window. You can't take fuel and drive through, never mind.
Can't take fuel, but can try and minimise the impact of running in the traffic, which can, to be honest, cost you just as much as a drive-through if you don't play it right.
I thought I was cooking very briefly there. No, I forgot to turn the stove on.
Right, let's take a look at what happened to Daniel Morphy on lap 1. We saw it live. We're going to take another look at it. Said they made it through the exit and then very much didn't. And it almost looks like Daniel Morphy comes in a little bit on the car that was on the inside.
Just got a twitch of oversteer, corrected it, but unfortunately that points the car to the right, and there's already a car there. Just a rough deal for Morphy, I think.
What happened to Quinton Verdonk in the battle for second place? 2 into 1 doesn't go a little bit. I think Quinton...
Not sure. I have a slight feeling that DLR car might have opened up the steering a little bit there. Just briefly based on that.
This is what happened to Samuel M. Shepherd.
He was on the blinkers before this. That does just look like a case of someone outbraking someone else in a straight line, which never ends well.
Rodrigo Sarta into the pits this time by. That picture for Alessandro Vici. Davide keeping Raymond Denit honest at the front of GTP as well.
And I think we're about to get our first round of traffic. So there's the black flag cleared for Federico Sato.
He's about 15 seconds behind the cars in front, so we'll hopefully, which have now started to catch the traffic, by the way. This is our race leader threading through the back marks in G3.
And you just need to be clean and efficient getting through here. And unfortunately, I think Denit just got offset by that car, wanted the outside, but that GT3 wasn't giving it. And Marchetto has a chance to maybe close up a little bit. Aceless car.
I think crucial there for Denit to clear those two. Yeah, because it's going to be very difficult for Acetto to make any moves through this section. We'll try and go down the inside, but screwball his speed down the straight.
Yeah. You're going to be able to build it up fairly quickly, but obviously Denit got a much better launch. He's been able to pull away by an extra second as to where he was before. And it is a traffic jam down the back stretch right now. And there are yet more cars you need to get through.
Izzy down the front stretch into turn 1. Davey on the blinkers, just letting him know he's coming. I think he's going to send it here to try and stay with the driver in front. Finds a gap down the inside. Racing instant for the instant on lap 1. ETP. Side by side, and he's going to try and get around the outside of the Porsche. It's going to be very brave, and there's not room for two drivers to go through there.
But around and parked and missing bumper.
Going to take a look at that in a minute. This is the battle for P2 in GTP, and they're going to be side by side, I think, into the braking zone. Davey on the back is going to get a run. There was contact, was there? On the way into the braking zone. Can Davey keep it on the road? Because he was late on the brakes, and he gets through ahead of the Porsche driver to take P2 on the road. That was going to chase after Raymond Anita ahead. Or actually, is Acheta going to have a comeback here?
It's a brave move down this corner at this distance, especially with the GT3s right there as well. But Acheta's going to stay with him, keep him honest, and definitely use him as a pick to try and get these GT3s out of the way. If you stay in the coattails here, take a few wide lines, you might be able to stay in contact, potentially get a dive into sunset.
But Preem's been off.
Preem's been bullied off track, I think.
What happened to Preem? Oh, he's already missing the rear wing here. Something's already gone wrong there. What happened to Marco De Vita? Let's take a look at this. You pointed this one out, Kirby, into the pit lane. Oh, and just lost it.
Yeah, you're just that corner. You because of the barrier there, you can't see a car spinning there if they are. No way for those cars behind to really get out of the way in time. I think that's unfortunately a racing incident. Here's Albert Preem presumably actually loses his rear wing.
Well, this is him and Jack Reed battling it out a little bit. There was a disconnect briefly there, so I don't know where the wing has actually come off because I can't see anything else on the lock. Or Albert Preem. 1X, but this is wing's already missing here. Nothing else showing up, so really not sure what's happened. It must have been a very light contact.
By the way, Suarez still leads Awesom's Ross, Lockall and Lux. And hanging to the back of the train, Jonas Schneider's just about there in the GT3 field.
Renek moving up to P3. Sorry, battling for P. Bastian van der Heuvel.
Oh, a lot of movements as Mildenbrook cuts through the GT3s, excuse me.
And it's down the inside into Sunset for 93. Now, can he keep enough speed through the exit? It looks like he might be able to here. Going to be close into turn 1, I think.
I think Renek should have the overspeed here, but it's a question of can you get enough of it to make an overtake? Gonna try it. No, can't quite get it on the inside.
Into Vidal making his way back through the field. He's already up to P7.
This is the scariest thing if you're a GT3 driver. You see a swarm of hypercars trying to get around you and you're not seeing where the last one is. So you just have to hold your line and hope that your car can take whatever position you're currently on.
Side by side here, Schneider and one of the, well, 3 cars here now. Schneider, Heck and Eck. Heck and Eck, this is not going to get confusing at all. Right, into Sunset, and there's a little bit of a squeeze there on the apex, and the Mustang is going to go rounded into the wall. Big hit for Schneider on the front left, no meatball. No meatball giving down, but it's going to come into the pit lane for repairs.
You can't take that hit and go away unscathed, I'm sorry.
Take a look from the chopper following this battle. Pretty wide, this was always going to go wrong, and Schneider's going to try and find a gap down the inside. And does, but too much speed and loses the rear end. Nearly got away with it, so nearly got away with it.
If you can get that trail braking right, that is an excellent move to do, but unfortunately it's just a little bit too much out of the fronts. They get out the way and, yeah, the rears take over and that car goes careening into the barrier.
Awesom's leads ahead of Suarez and Ross, but these 3 are all going for it here. GTPs have come through, didn't really break up the pack too much actually. A couple of them still left right at the back to push through, but that's it.
Please check blue flags.
First and fought. With a very early call for blue flags, there have been a few drivers who have come in, presumably for damage.
I'll work out who's on track ahead of him. 33.
Veska.
That is for...
Is that Veska?
I'm trying to work out if there's anybody else in between them. And maybe Robin and Bisbergen might have blue flags a couple of cars up the road, maybe? battling out here, though. Kevin Versampo's going to try and find a gap down the inside of the Lamborghini, and he's going to find a gap down the inside of the Go Esports Lamborghini. Will he make it through on the exit in the DLR Mercedes? And he does. Side by side, they're bumping down the straight.
Because if they're side by side, Vesca has the outside run here and should have the overspeed. They're going to be nose to nose coming into the corner. It's going to be a question of who's feeling braver on the brakes and who can get the line better.
Oh, close
that's
on
a little
the
too early
entry.
turning from Vesca.
Vesca
Carly
doesn't
can't
really
turn
need
in.
to fight this as well, remember. Vesca leading out at the moment, while Versampo is just trying to catch up with the pro drivers ahead, so a little bit of
But if you're
pride
Vesca,
here.
No, if you're Vesca, you want the pro behind you because that puts a car between you and the next car you're fighting, which can be very important, and Schneider is just out of the way entirely.
I think Schneider may be involved. The incidents were quite close. No, that's all it was for Luca Picardi. So this is what happened to Schneider. We've used his fast repairs, so the car should be okay now, but maybe pushing a little bit too aggressively. Oh no, gets on the curves.
Oh, yeah. That second hit
Probably
worries me a little bit.
will still be drivable.
Definitely. I think you have to drive to this point.
Every point counts when it comes to the end of the season, as we saw season 10 finale. This is a close little battle here between Van der Moelenbroek, Frederic and Verdonk.
This is the problem if you're just trying to get a move done on a straight, is that you have the benefit of the toe until you need to pull out, and then Frederic's going to have all that air hit the front, and there is just no chance of carrying the speed into the corner there.
Jeopard into the pit lane, I believe, may have retired.
Awesome Suarez Ross Knuckle still nose to tail in the GT3s. Meanwhile, there's just a train of them behind. That car is missing a front.
Yeah, what has happened to Callum Lux? I'm gonna try and find it. Might be this. Oh, it's already broken. Let's take a look at this one. Here we go. Oh,
Nope,
because
this
that's
is the
Schneider.
Schneider incident we saw earlier. Yep. Oh, you just got a glimpse of that's Lux in front there.
Yeah. My timing board.
I apologise, Schneider. Like,
we go.
it's an unfortunate incident. We shouldn't need to replay it this many times.
Right, here is the true race log for Callum Lux. This is the first incident point that I can see. There's all the car here, though. A look at the next one. Oh no, it's missing.
Don't tell me we have more phantom car issues.
I'm gonna look on my other race log for Callum Lux. Can't see anything else, so I'm not sure what's happened to Callum. Find out post.
What is going on? Because recently we had a spate of cars just getting damaged, and it's getting worse, and I'm very worried. Like, that's not, like, that's quite significant damage that Lux has just taken to the front that we just have no record of.
High racing here.
Placio Rodriguez is trying to get third place in GT3M from Jim Schulten, who's the car in front. Trying to find a way past, but unfortunately just in the narrowest part of the track, there's just not enough width to get a car alongside, really. Just forced to take this one nice and easy. To try and find a way around, maybe down in towards Sunset is your traditional point, but this close nose to tail, it can be quite challenging, especially when the car in front's got another draft from a same class car. Tries to set up the exit, doesn't really carry the speed through there, and it's going to let that car pull away a little bit. And should diffuse the situation for that.
Callum Lux into the pit lane for an early first stop, probably to repair that damage.
Parker Davita's just been put under investigation. I'm not sure why, but we'll keep it posted.
This incident, I think. And it keeps jumping to the wrong car. Oh, one of these days. Marco De Vita, and let's take a look at the incident that is under investigation. Then barrier. They're going to be a rejoin.
Oh, this might be a resafe join late. If that is the cause that race control have marked it for,
well, let's see here. Does he pinch the LMP2? Hard to tell from that angle.
No, that seems fine. Race control will either press nothing happens button, or Andy is going to personally report to me as to what the hell's going on, because I'm very confused. I'm too confused about a lot of stuff in this race right now.
Knuckles got a nice view here. Battle for the lead in front of him. Podium.
All the cars in front are nowhere to go.
Less than a second, by the way, separating these top 4 right now. Run.
They're running this close together. That's hardly surprising, but GTPs, excuse me, don't break them up properly. They can just sort of ride around like this for a while.
Ah, blue flags. That's what that was.
Fair enough. And it looks like the actual reported lap was different from the one that's out in the incident, which would explain why we're very confused. So, mystery solved for that one. Thank you, Race Control. As we stay with this fight, Knuckle watching the backs of Ross, Suarez and Ossoms, and he gets very close to them this time. They will accordion back out again.
Hex had a small moment off the road. Yeah. Be a bit of dirt on the exit of turn 1, is it? Yes.
Yep. A little bit too early turning, a little bit too much speed. Easy mistake to make. Have a 1x and get on your way. Sholton's going to get pinched, or is pinching.
Sholton versus we're going on for a while here, and in fact we're going to cut to live because it's still going at it now. Looking at
Which we go back to Dominic Knuckle.
GTPs into the pit lane, Cheto and Van der Vacker. The brakes down the inside, the Mercedes clears BMW. Don't think it's over yet.
Not over yet, though. Does look like Sholton wants that placed back, but struggling to find a gap to make the move right now.
The LMP2 is going to try and find a way through. This is Ruben Stegelman.
Stegelman, yeah.
Huh? Find a way.
DeVita apparently maybe got involved in an incident based on this radio call, but I'm not sure. What actually can check? We have technology.
Bolton showing off track, but I think just nearly getting into the back, and that's why that gap has grown out a little bit. Couldn't see. Over there, Cheto has jumped to the pit. That's what's happened. It's connected, and then a brief blip.
Check blue flag.
Monty asking for blue flags to be checked again. All of our LMP2 drivers into the pits as well as the GT3s now. Getting busy as we hit the 2-minute mark. Be close. Out front in GT3. Jeffrey Roche trying to find a way past Raul Suarez. Vincent Ossoms, seems weird to say, starts to eke out a little bit of a lead of half a second. Wins in the donk. Hassling now. Far ahead of the BMW. Blue flags for
Van Binsbergen.
Schneider's had another moment. Turn 1.
Oh, Schneider, I'm so sorry for what's about to happen to you.
Oh, big hit into the wall.
Oh, you've got to be careful with those.
Lucky not to
I say
bounce
this is
back
someone
on.
who did. I say this is someone who did the exact same thing at Silverstone. You've got to be careful for those. Like if you're going that fast and you're trying to catch a slide, sometimes the cards will snap on you.
Glenn's going to have a moment here on the cold tyres out the pit lane.
Straight on at turn 1. Straight on at turn 1.
On a spin, not too bad a way to do it. Easily ended up in the wall. Be able to carry on. A lot of GT3s into the pit lane now. Everyone but our leaders. Jeffrey Rosso did bail in this time and try and undercut the cars ahead.
Mark Frederick trying to find A button and finally gets the pit call.
Keep an eye on the mini-map. Sorry, I was just going to say, keep an eye on that mini-map. That orange 4 is Jeffrey Ross. This is your race leading pack. It's going to be crucial when these guys come into pit, probably this lap.
Oh, there's a swarm on pit road right now. I think Frederick might be pitting, so that's going to be 3. No, that's still 3 GT3s leaving though, not a multi-class exit here.
All of our leaders into the pit lane now. Raymond Denit will retake the lead. You would have thought into turn 1 here. So.
Now, back up front, Ossoms and Suarez. Nicole a little bit behind now. And now I get to ask the question of how long can you go? Oh, Vincent van der Moelenbroek
has had a moment. What's happened here? Pit exit for the DLR
it's just gonna be
driver.
a cold tyres memento, isn't it? Like, yes, I can swing into turn 1 on cold tyres at full foot send. Oh no! My lord, Timon Scholten's been kicked. Okay, Scholten actually got away with that a lot. Good lord. Van der Moelenbroek will drive away from the spin.
And Ostens and Raul Suarez all into the pit lane now. Keep an eye on that mini-map. On his way into Sunset is Jeffrey Ross in the Porsche. And Callum Lux following closely behind in the Aston Martin as well. Ossoms pulls out of his box. You can see them on the right-hand side of your screen. It's going to be close into turn 1. Can he get the power down quick enough to stay ahead? Brilliant. If we could see, I think he has done. 2.5 seconds. Mega job from Vincent Ossoms in the pit lane because Raul Suarez and Dominic Knockel are a long way further back. Wow, Vincent Ossoms, 2.2 seconds ahead of Callum Lux, who is 2 seconds, sorry, of Jeffrey Ross, who is another 2 seconds ahead of Raul Suarez. All while leading. You would have thought Ossoms would have been burning more fuel than the rest of them.
But obviously, if you're fast,
passes
you just get that gap
on pit exit.
This is nope. Never mind.
It's Taylor Donaldson, and here a couple of moments this lap. I think maybe is putting
just an unfortunate bump. Yeah. Oh, and there's a hit to the rear. Ooh, might got away with that one actually.
Already had damage potentially at that point. Missed a couple. Federico Sartor getting past Casper Hu on the recovery drive after the drive-through penalty. Just down the inside and say who really like that team. Pete Preens. It's the move
this
done.
was the woods I was calling. Yeah. GT3 did manage to survive that just about, even the tyres aren't too hot. Who is just gonna?
This is a narrow
just
escape.
About.
Ruben Stegemann? Oh, Sebastian's caught him up here. I'm not quite sure how this has happened. He's actually gone for the move now. Veska and Vici have had a coming together, I think. Vici ahead slow and wide.
No, I'll let
I don't think
Veska
there's
off that
anything
one.
to happen there, to be honest. Yeah.
Like, I think Veska did the right thing in trying to go straight there. Maybe could have gotten the anchors more, but I can appreciate why you don't want to do that. It's a question of that car looks like it's going to spin out of the way. It just, the constant corrections kept it in the line.
Whichever way you go, inevitably the car is going to spin in that direction, isn't it?
Race control will look at it, but I would be surprised if it wasn't anything other than a racing incident.
No.
And
Right on cue, yeah. Must be listening. Jeffrey Ross. Under pressure, actually. From Callum Lux, I would have thought he'd have closed up a little bit. And Awesome's nothing
I think
really
Awesome's
doing.
is just fast. You can solve all of your issues in racing by just being faster than the people you're racing, generally. Awesome's does look to be going for that line of thinking as Seaman tries to get the back of Van der Heuvel. I don't know how I feel about the liveries, but they are in the same paint scheme for Clogpipe Racing, and they are certainly visually distinct, yes. That's a very nice way of putting it, as they'll send it into sunset, try and get alongside a GTP who's currently trying to deal with some rowdy GT3s.
Side by side here, Ruben's found a little bit of a gap. These guys swap positions just over a lap ago. It looks like they're about to swap positions again. Is Ruben going to down the inside? Right.
But there's no carry down that inside. You have to really be committed there. I think, to be fair, he's alongside here, so that might be enough to get the move. You can just steak it. Yeah, no, just backs out a little bit too much. Stegemann gives space for Andrew to sweep across the nose and take the position back.
And you're in there a couple of laps ago, and has just gone deep, and he's going to be on that grass. But you can do that and get away with it, and there's not really a slowdown either. So
it's a little bit of a slowdown, but the problem is you're then into a heavy braking zone, so who cares? So as long as your instant limits are under check, you should be fine.
Sandro Vici off-road, odds on it's turn one, pretty high. And just run on to close racing here in GTP as Quinton Verdonk is finally going to try and find a way past Mark Frederick. Win yet though.
Like, where do you make the move on this track? That's the problem. I say that about a lot of places actually now I think about it, but
it's difficult. The hairpin is the best, I think, opportunity to do the move. But it's so tight that if you haven't cleared them by the time you get there, you can't both really get through there.
I am partial to turn one. I think that's a decent place you can get a decent line. Sunset is the classic place, of course.
But he's got to find a gap down Sunset, down the inside. Tighter corner is going to cost him exit speed, though. Gets ahead, Quinton Verdonk, mega job.
Frederick
in Sunset.
has a chance, picks the inside, can't get alongside, might be brave on the brakes, chooses not to be. Verdonk gets the move done. Fair play.
Very impressive. I'll push on to try and recover a little bit further up the road, but 12 seconds ahead is a big ask. Off race distance now.
Nick Picardi chasing down.
A pro drive.
Yes. I can't tell which one it is, unfortunately.
Monty. teammates still battle it out for P2. I think they know that P1 is off the cards with the pace that Boza has today.
Boza looks very fast in that P2 right now, and obviously a good way to solve a lot of your problems is just being faster than the people you're racing against. Because that means you don't end up like Stegerman, and you don't end up caught behind your teammate, and you don't have to spend lap after lap just driving in their coattails and trying to find a gap. And there aren't many gaps, so you just get frustrated, and that's when things start to get a very defensive slide there from the teammates.
Into Sunset, side by side once again. Can he hang it around the outside? Stegerman's going to try.
Just gets clear. And
oh, but gets a good exit. Who's going to be on into turn 1?
I think this is going to end in tears for both of them based on that move alone. Like, you don't do that defensive slide without thinking to yourself, I'm going to do something disgusting here.
Oh, Marco De Vita.
That has to be an instant point black flag, I think.
They've come together, though.
Can you check, please?
They're asking for it to check, but...
It is under investigation by race control. Whatever's happened.
Rear-ended, right. You get the replay, it's not showing up on my other logs, so... Through race control, and that's very weird. I think he was trying to get out of the way for the blue flag, and then...
I was totally in the left.
It was like he got out of the way.
Marco, just to clarify, were you trying to let him through there?
I'm not...
Sorry, where? I'm not sure.
That was Mark who responded to the question for Marco.
It's a little bit of a mess. I'm not sure what was going on in that replay that caused an incident point. Nice.
Sorry, and you don't know what you mean or where. I don't.
No, Marco, I was asking, not you, Mark.
This is why we refer to people by surnames or car number. Much less confusion.
Car numbers are difficult if you don't speak English as a first language. Like, oh, and Ruben Stegerman. Then also Mark and Marco are quite similar if you don't.
Yes.
Especially over the crunchy iRacing radio. Albert Preen, by the way, into the pit lane from P4, or P3 even. For his second stop. It's going to be a long final
totally in the left on the last corner.
I'm not sure, like, okay, you're to the left, I'm not sure,
Davy
like...
Van der Vacker and Callum Lux! Have they come together?
That's a big junk. That's a big junker.
Quite sure what's happened here.
I think your replays might be having issues.
This is Davy Van der Vacker, and this is when it's saying Davy crashed. Davy has carried on. I don't know if
Lux was definitely in the wall, so I don't know if you got that from Lux's perspective.
No, we're going to look at the Lux one in a second. I just don't know if Davy's just... Ah, there we go.
Okay.
Running P2 at the time, and that's going to... Time? Now let's take a look at what happened. Lux. Sunset. It's dark. He already got a little bit loose because he brakes a couple of times. Just going to run it out into the wall and takes a big hit and into the pit. Attenuator, and wow. Close on the exit.
That is a very unfortunate bounce. That car just didn't want to turn properly. I think Albert Preem, race control, I'd call Albert Preem for an unsafe rejoin, potentially, as we might actually get the replay of it here. I don't know if anybody's actually listening to me during all of this, but just like, I'm not sure about that one, Chief.
You'll be on the radio.
Stegerman still chasing Van der Roever. That's going to be an hypercar of Mark Frederick trying to carve through that. Just gets in the way at a bad time, unfortunately, for Stegerman. Will give the gap back to Van der Roever.
Lux has picked up a meatball, by the way.
That doesn't surprise me.
To expect. Very lucky to not get collected a second time.
That car got invited to Windows XP Game Space Pinball. Yes, it needs repairs. Still on board with Stegeman, still chasing down Van der Ruvel's. Carl Bozer's pulled away elsewhere in the field. Awesome has pulled away even further from Jeffrey Ross. Actually, that gap now 3.3.
Remember, Callum Lux was running P3 as well. That's put Suarez back onto the podium. Well, this is going to help. This is going to help Stegeman here. He's going to open up the gap, and he's going to take it to sweep down the inside of his teammate. But they're still side by side. Thinking he's out on the grass now.
It's going to be close in through Tower here. One car very much on the dirt there. Doesn't seem to slow them down too much. Here comes Glenn Grundlers, who has no way through.
He's going to try and go all the way around the outside and make it 3-5, but that's not going to work. He's still going at it.
Stegeman. Slide through. Switchback gets blocked. Beautiful move there by Stegeman. Finally, Grundlers gets through.
And clears them both before they get to the end of the straight. That's crucial. Stegeman defends the inside.
Now takes the racing line back. Blocks off the move. Stegeman's got the position fairly solidly here. That is the fakest dive bomb attempt I think I've seen in a while. Stegeman will hold the position. Van der Ruvel still chasing. Obviously these two fairly close in pace, but definitely help each other out a little bit.
One thing I love about the LMP2 is all these gorgeous camera angles.
Slightly ruined by the paint scheme. I digress.
Asper, who was just set the fastest Sector 1 of the race, by the way, and in P9 with his times. White flag.
Race control are not happy with this. Stop-go penalty, blue flag infringement, and causing a collision and brake trick.
I think that's for slowing down in that section of corners, trying to let the car by. Well, I'm happy though. That was unsurprising. A couple of 4Xs has just come in for Ben Groneveld and Jeffrey Ross. So, not sure what's happened here, but let's try and take a look at this. Well, there's just contact with the LMP2.
Yeah, just unfortunate that the LMP2 just didn't get a great exit. Ross got a great exit, and
the biggest problem I think with the LMP2 is that it just has no power to put down anymore.
Yep, so you just end up like stalling out a little bit. Kind of same with the hypercars. Once they get to the higher power, you just get to pull away, but in that early stage of gearing, it can be quite difficult to get a gap going. So Denise is one of two drivers who made their second stop in GTP. Chateau currently leads for Donk and Frederick and Reed, and then Denise slots back into fifth. Obviously, the rest of the drivers above Denise will almost certainly take fuel unless they've done the fuel pipes count as the fuel tank cheat. Tim and Shelton still hunting down Pete Prince for P4 in the AM category. Can't quite tell who's in front of them there. Daniel Morphy, pro driver. Kind of taking a huge chunk of lawn mowing out of the exit turn 1 there.
Daniel Murphy, the leader of the cars that have already made 2 stops. And Cheto is into pits in. Bastian into the pits.
Would be the first of the LMP2 drivers to take their second stop.
Nobody else going in on this lap either as Renek and Elawat go past the pit entry.
I'll just break up the Stegerman Van der Roel fight as well.
Oh, and wide for Renek, and that's going to allow Elawat to get through, surely. Who takes a bit of avoiding action, goes a little bit wide, but is going to stay ahead, I think.
Racingson called for the it's between
Well, that's expected, though.
Groneveld. I saw Grow, and I want to make Grosjean. I'm like, no, that's wrong.
Neto and Van der Moelenbroek are going at it after the pit stops. Oh, Van der Moelenbroek.
Let's look to take the race when we can get it.
I don't think that's right. I think he has.
Van der Moelenbroek hasn't made one stop as far as I'm aware.
Oh, yeah.
It's the final corner. Cheto currently in the back stretch. Frederick will pit.
Bastian's had a moment on the outlap. Are already unhappy on the way in.
It looks mostly fine. A little bit scripted. I've done the exact same move. I know exactly what he's done. Like, yes, I have enough power there. I can put my foot down. No, no.
I'm using up the get out of jail free cards into turn one.
So if you've got the extra points to spend, it's not the worst place to use them, but obviously if you use too many, that is a drive-through penalty.
Ossoms and Ross both into the pit lane this time by. Final stops in GT3. Oh, Frederick and Davey van der Backer are going at it here. Frederick looks on no grip. I don't know if that's another set of tyres. The NW.
So I've been thinking about tyres a lot more than I probably should for someone who isn't driving. I don't know if you want a second set of tyres or when you'd want to take them, but around here where it can be quite abrasive, I'm not sure what the actual wear is like, especially in these conditions, but definitely tyres are an option if you don't mind taking a slightly longer stop. It's just a question of do you actually make that time back on the track? Because obviously you have to get through the cold tyres first before you have access to fresh tyres, essentially. And cold tyres around here are a handful.
We're expecting the last couple of drivers into the pits next time by, and then we can get a true view of order as they currently run.
Half the GT3 field still needs to pit. The donk still needs to pit from Hypercar. As does who? Sartor does as well, actually. I forgot that first stint was a, at least on my screen, was a penalty, so.
Yeah, correct.
And then
Starting to
Who
settle
as
down
well.
now a little bit with how in today's race.
Also, all these drivers calling for their pit-ins over text chat. Where's the element of surprise? Don't tell your opponents when you're about to pit, surprise them. Make them work for their strategies. Unless you're in a field of traffic and you're desperately trying to get to the right side so you can actually pit in because you need to like try and get to the right side of everyone through sunset. That I can maybe understand, but you can't do the NASCAR thing of just sticking your hand out of the window, unfortunately.
Donk into the pit lane. We give Raymond the lead back, and then he led turn 1.
Except for those few laps where, because they didn't pitted early, obviously.
Net leader at all times during the race.
That technicality does disqualify you from a Grand Slam, not that we care here at ASR.
There's no bonus points for that. Just winning the race. Suarez pressuring Ross at the moment. Going to try and go down the inside into the hairpin.
No, fake move. If he sticks his nose in there, that is a horrendous attempt. There is no hope in hell that that move actually sticks, unless you are significantly better on the brakes than the car in front. I think Ross is quick enough that's not the case. Me, potentially you can make that move. Having said that, that's definitely a lot of closing speed that Suarez has right now, so maybe if he was like half a car length closer. But as it stands, Ross should be able to hold that position for a while.
Out of lane. 5 seconds back from Sebastian, so despite that spin from Sebastian, gained an awful lot of time. Suarez really pressuring Jeffrey Ross here, trying to force a mistake. I think he knows that the move is going to be very difficult to put on normally. The battle for P2, remember. The LMP2 can make this interesting here into turn 1. Oh, he's going to go down the inside! That's a big send from Suarez. Is there room for both of them on the exit? There is. They're still going to be side by side going into turn 3. And he's got it. He's got the inside line. Can he slow it down enough on the A-pace to get back onto the racing line? He can. I think that's going to be moved done for Suarez.
Ross hesitated just a moment on turn. That just gave enough of a window for Suarez to stick it in. Obviously, Suarez just being slightly better on the brakes makes it very easy to get it down the inside there. Ross going to try and come back. I'm not sure what the braking is like. No, he's backing off.
And push on the exit though. He's keen to find a gap here.
I think Ross might realise he's worse on the brakes, so he's going to struggle to make a clean dive out of nowhere. He's very strong on exit though, so I'm feeling like Ross might try and set up for a move down into Sunset off the back of Le Mans.
Porsche is good on power.
Like they come apart during braking because Suarez gets in deeper. And then Ross just picks up the throttle and that gap just closes right back up again. Meanwhile, Van der Vack has just slid past Ocheto for P2 in the hypercars. That's right behind this battle, actually.
It is. The hypercars are now going to come through. There's 3 of them. The Donk is joining the battle as well.
And Ross struggling, I think, a little bit to hold on to Suarez, but with the battle we saw in the front, you just see Van der Vack just goes straight on a corner and just pulls ahead, gets the move done, does end up slow on the corner, but just because he's got in the way of the car behind, Ocheto forced to check up and give up that position. Very opportunistic move there for the BMW driver, but makes it stick, no contact happens, so everyone's just going to have to deal with some bruised egos and get on with it.
But back to live, the sun's come out for the final 7 minutes of today's race.
I think Chetto's starting to hold up Donk a little bit as well, so that move might be coming in soon as well. Ross, I think, has the pace overall over Suarez, but you need to be significantly better on the brakes here to get that move done anywhere, and like I said, I don't think Ross has the braking potential in that Porsche as it stands.
And Groeneveld comes in for what should be the final scheduled stop of the race. I will apologise, I got Eloat and Stegemann mixed up earlier. Bastian is about... Oh, I don't even know who... Two of the clog pipes racing drivers now a little bit more separated out than me.
See Donk chasing Chetto, chasing Van der Wacker,
good speed
and looks
down the
like one of those drivers has
inside
gone
here.
wide. Chetto opened the door, couldn't quite get the car turned in properly. Should be advantage for Donk into the corner, but there's no real chance for dive here, given how fast you enter this corner. It'd be very risky to try anything. Try to back it off offset, maybe look for a move into turn 3.
Chetto
Turn 2 is a slight
really
flick to the
struggling
right.
with the tyres here, isn't he?
Yeah,
Have a lot
maybe
less
the car
grip.
overall.
Eloat's just past Daniel Renek as well. Fake for Daniel is all up on the curbs and has to get off the power momentarily.
He does realise the move's coming, doesn't find it too hard, just slides out of the way.
Diego Paliccio Rodriguez into the pits for, I believe, will be the final scheduled stop of the race.
I think that's an unscheduled stop of the race, actually, based on the fact that there's only 2 laps done there.
On a fuel. Oh.
Would be a rather unfortunate way for the race to end. Better catch that one early than try and chug around with not enough fuel. Donk still chasing Chetto. Ross has fallen off the back of Suarez a little bit in GT3 Pro. Awesome still into that category. The Donk looks half around the inside, trying to tuck it back in on the inside, but there's a car there. You can't complete that move like he wants to.
Chetto really struggling here. 2 seconds off at Van der Wacker now, so won't really be getting a tow as well, which should help him to try and get this move parts of this race.
A little bit of understeer there for the Vulcan Motorsports driver, but just trying to keep it close for now. Obviously, not many good places around here. Could potentially look for moving a hairpin if you keep it close, but that's looking at significantly too far, actually. This is where even I could hold this position.
Like, Verdonk, unfortunately for Verdonk, the key difference seems to be in the high-speed corner, where actually it's quite difficult to pass. So Sunset and Turn 1 is where there seems to be the biggest difference. There's no way to make a move in either.
If Chetto misses the apex of Sunset again, there's definitely enough room for Verdonk to get to the inside. Verdonk's car is very compliant, it seems. You could definitely get to that inside line very reliably. If Chetto slips again, there's just a good chance Dutchman just goes, okay, my inside line, thank you very much. Because I think once the move is half done, it's already over. It's just getting there is going to be the hard part.
A good exit through here. Agreed, though. Getting ready to make a move.
Yeah. Looking a little more likely than the move further up the field. Still very close, but no real gap unless Reed does a right here. Nope, chooses to try and carry speed out. Just I think fishtails it a little bit too much, yeah. Yeah, we just can't keep it close up. Fronts will pull away a little bit. Donk's still chasing Aceto, but not an easy move to make as it stands.
One more
You
lap
might need to
after
get
this
creative
one as
with
well, I
Donk.
think.
Yeah. Raymond Denny on debut, looking very strong in that GTP right now. Will take the white flag this time by. Vanderbeek has built up enough of a gap that Aceto shouldn't be able to challenge, and Verdonk, if they get past, should have to settle for third place. Ross has just formed to the back of Suarez in GT3 Pro, but Austin's has been uncontested. After the pit cycle in that category, Vesca still leads the AMS ahead of Bacardi and Prince.
Gaps for all of our leaders really in this race. Very dominant performances. One more look on Suarez.
Yeah. Denis has taken the white flag. So as they come through for the final time here, this will be one lap of racing left to go. Clock strikes midnight, and Verdonk needs to find a way through here. Might have a half a look into turn 3 if he's feeling aggressive. Has half of a run, can't, oh, gets checked up badly. Has to let Aceto pull away
he's going to find a gap
here.
down the inside, is he now?
No, surely not.
Getting desperate here now. Knows kind of gone now, the real chance, unless there's a move potentially into sunset next time round.
And I think because of that half move, he's sort of like ruined his chance of making a move into hairpin. Does get a better line on the exit there, but it's not going to close up enough to get a send into Cunningham. As Denis gets through Le Mans, Verdonk still stuck behind the Chateau. A few cars in front of them here could cause issues. No, I think they're a bit too far upfield. Verdonk can't get alongside through Le Mans, has to stay behind here. And there's one shot for the win, or for the third place, excuse me. The win goes to Raymond Denny, who's been very strong all race, no complaints there, but we go back into the field. Chateau holding on for dear life.
Down the inside, he's going to have a look at it.
Not an amazing camera angle, unfortunately. Chateau looks like he's managed to hold on just about. Slides back in front, and Chateau will just about hold on into third place. But Donk scores 0.0. I think that GT3 might have got slightly in the way.
Close
But that
racing.
was disastrously close for Verdonk. Knuckle might have a chance at fourth place in GT3 Pro, actually. Van Eck trying to hold on, similar sort of situation, but this time Knuckle putting the pressure on, tries to get the inside. Just about
I'm
gets
not
it
sure
in
if there was contact there. There's definitely contact there.
There's definitely contact there.
Through Lamar down the back straight. I think Eck's going to have a good run here in the toe of the Aston Martin.
And I think with that shovel, bets are off as to what happens here. They're all both going to slide to the inside. Van Eck is going to just about hold it on the track. That is in bounds. Space is given. But you're very offline. Good look for the switch back, but no. Van Eck just gets the tap out of the way. Knuckle doesn't quite punt. And Van Eck takes the position back in the final lap of racing. Outstanding performance. Is Knuckle out of fuel?
He's either out of fuel or has accepted his fate. I think he might be out of fuel. Carlos Boza wins in LMP2. Vincent Ossoms wins in GT3 Pro, followed by Suarez and Ross, who couldn't get by in the end. Vesca will win in AM when he comes to the line. Caught up in a collision with a spinning pro car earlier on in the race. But he's going to bring the sole Lamborghini to the line to take the win in GT3 AM. 3 seconds ahead of Luca Picardi.
Everyone's Binsberg and...
Just 4 drivers not finishing the race, by the way.
restarted from what we left.
Sorry.
We restarted from where we left. 1-2.
Bisbergen next to the line currently runs down in P7 and at 7th place. Your running drivers. Raymond Denis, your overall race winner.
I'll be honest, not quite as much carnage I expected for a race at Sebring, but good racing all round.
Right, Vincent Ossoms was your race winner in GT3 Pro, ahead of Ralph Suarez, Jeffrey Ross, Dave Van Eck, Dominic Knuckle, Kevin Versanthor, Raphael Heck, Daniel Morphy, Willie Monty, top 10, and Callum Snyder both been caught up in some incidents. Points distance. The race today was won by Ivan Veska, ahead of Luca Picardi and Pete Preens. That's your podium. Pete Preens not a lap down. That's due to the usual. Pete Preens in third, Timo Scholten in P4, Patrick Stanek in P5, Diego Palcio Rodriguez down in P6. I think stop four ahead of Van Bisbergen and Taylor Donaldson, Marco. LMP2 was run by Carlos Boza, ahead of Ruben Stegemann, Sebastian van der Heuvel, Leon van Ellerwatt, Daniel Renek, Ben Groneveld, and Sam Shepard. And your overall race winner on debut, who also took pole position, is Raymond Denis, ahead of Davy van der Vacker, Davide Aceto taking a podium on debut and managing to hold off the fast-charging Quinton Donk in the final few laps. Albert Preen came in to finish 5 ahead of Mark Frederick, also on debut in 6. Glenn Grondelez in P7, Jack Reed 8, Sartor in P9 after having to serve that drive-through penalty for a jump start at Casper Hu, and 10 and P11 killed. Well, Alice, an exciting race. Lots of action throughout the whole race, really, as well. Any closing thoughts before I run our viewers through the calendar?
I don't know if you know this, but Sebring used to be a military airfield.
They told me. Is that why it's made out of horrible concrete blocks that have no grip? Bumpy.
It might be the case.
All right, everybody. We've got a break week coming up next week, so that all of our drivers are free to spend all their time practicing for Petit Le Mans. Then we're going to go for a double header at some proper classic tracks, Hockenheim and Imola. We're going to break week for iRacing's official, unofficial 24 hours of Le Mans, ahead of another double header, Silverstone and Belle Isle, and a break week for the Suzuka 1000 before we finish off at a new track, Mexico City. Heads the triple header of Mexico City, Monza, and the 90 Watkins of. Anybody that joined us on the stream today and wants to join us for the rest of the season as a driver, head to the link. Questions, head over to our Discord channel and all will be answered, and we'll get you registered for the season. If not, feel free to join us on the broadcast every week. We'll be back in a couple, and we'll see you next time.